greatest common factor. And so when we have something in front, like this has a 12 in front, or in general in factoring, the first thing that we want to do is look to see if it has a GCF. That's what we're going to do first. That's why I listed it first. And so take a look here. Does 12a squared b minus 54ab minus 30b have a GCF? Keep going. 6 what? 6b. Which one is it? 6. Okay. And that's out. So why is it 6a? What's that? Why is it not 6a? Yeah. The last term does not have an a in it, so we cannot pull an a out. Okay, so if 6b is the GCF, let's first take that out. What would be left then? Minus, what's 54av divided by 6b? 9a minus 5. Okay, now what we're going to learn today is if what's left looks like this, we learned yesterday it is possible that then that factors into binomials, correct? Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I am going to write 2 parentheses, okay, and then I'm going to talk about what goes in the parentheses that's a little different than yesterday. And then we'll kind of talk through what are some strategies for figuring that out. Pencil would be the first strategy because of erases, okay? Because it's going to be a lot of multiplying out and checking and getting wrong and trying something else. So yesterday we just had like an a squared, and we knew it was a and a, right? Today we have that the firsts are 2a squared. That changes things. What do you think I'm going to put here to get a 2a squared instead of a and a? How about 2a and a? Yeah, isn't 2a times a squared? Okay. Now I'm going to look at the signs. One is going to have to be positive and one's going to have to be negative. So I'm going to switch over to pencil here in case I get the wrong one. Why did I pick positive and negative? Because the last things multiply to be a negative number, yeah. Okay, now we have to be careful though. This is where you really have to check the outer and inner. And you have to really check because there's a 2 in front. And 2, you're going to multiply by the other thing for the outer, and so it's going to affect our answers. Let's go back to 5 though. What's the only thing that multiplies to be 5? 5 and 1, correct? Well, I'm going to just quick show you. Don't write this down. If I put a 5 here and a 1 here, the firsts are 2a squared and the last are negative 5. How would I check the middle term though? Well, we don't add them. We do the what plus the what? FOIL. First, outsides, insides, last. Which ones could we put together? Outsides and insides. All right, let's do the outers. What's 2a times negative 1? Negative 2a. And what's 5 times a? Does that add up to what we see there? No. So what I do then is I switch them around. Well, I told you not to write it down. If I do this, this would work. Because what's 2a times negative 5? Negative 10a plus 1a. What's negative 10a plus 1a? Negative 9a. But you see it's a little bit more tricky when you have a number in front because it affects the addition of the outers and the inner. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to, well, we talked about this yesterday. What does it mean if a trinomial or any polynomial is prime? Yep, that it can't be factored. And that means it doesn't even have a GCF. That it can't be factored. Okay. So if I was, I'm going to try a different one this time, okay? If I was factoring this out or multiplying this out, would you agree with me that a times c would give me my first? Okay. The outers would be a times d. What would the inners be? B times c. And we know that when we do that, when we add them together, they're going to give us the middle term, correct? And then the last are b times c. Okay. So we're going to kind of use that idea when we're trying to figure out what the factors of 15x squared minus 7x minus 30 are. So first let's check. Is there a GCF? Is there a GCF? No. Okay. Then what we're going to do is I am going to write down here a 15 up top above the S. Do you understand why I'm doing that? The first have to multiply to be 15. What should I write above the L? Negative 30. Good. Now, I don't know the outers and the inners yet. What I'm going to try to do is I am going to try to figure out what the outers and the inners are. So I am going to try to pick an A and a C, two numbers that multiply to be 15. What do you want to try? Okay, and do you want to do 3 first or 5 first or? 3. Okay, so 3 times 5. Okay. And then I'm going to pick something, so this is my A and this is my C, which when I put them in, they're going to go here and here, right? Okay. Can you tell me two things that multiply to be negative 30? 10 and 3 or 15 and 2 or 10 and, we already did 10 and 3. Anything else? 5 and 6. Okay, so when you're picking things, you kind of got to look. The outers plus the inners is negative 7x. So what I'm going to pick are numbers that are kind of close together, because if I start picking really big numbers and you multiply them, aren't they going to be pretty big numbers? Okay, so I'm going to start with a 5 and a 6, and they have to be negative, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to do this because we need to make some work first. Negative 6 times 5. Alright, so this is like my B and D. Alright, do you see, this is like in order. Alright, to do the outers, let's do the outers. What's A times D? What's 3 times 5? 15. What's 5 times negative 6? That's the inners. Negative 30. Would you guys add these together? What do you get? Negative 15. Is that the middle term? No. So then what we do is we switch them around. We keep the 3 and the 5 here. Now let's switch these around. Instead of negative 6 first times 5, I'm going to do negative 5 times 6. Okay. Let's do the outers. What's the outers? 18. What's the inners? Minus 25. What is 18 minus 25? -7. Does that work? Yes. So now, sometimes it's going to take more than two steps to do that, because we already talked about we could have checked like 1 and 30, 10 and 3, and so on. But I have these in the right order, so what I need to do is, this is my A, this is my C, this is my B, this is my D. Remember that? A, C, B, D? Okay, here we go. So let's factor it. It would be 3x minus 5, 5x plus 6. Once again, when you check the outers and inners, you get 18x minus 25x, which gives you a -7x. Okay. Now, I'm going to kind of give it to us in little steps. If the area of a rectangle is 2x squared plus 11x plus 12, and the width is x plus 4, what's the length? Well, let's write this out. Area is what times length times width, correct? Now, I don't know the length, so I'm going to leave that parentheses empty. But I know the width. What was the width? X plus 4. And then I know what the area is. It's 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Can you take a second, if possible, and fill in the blank? All right, what does this have to be in y? 2x, because 2x times x has to give me that, correct? All right, and what if I have a 4 here, wouldn't this have to be a plus 3? Yeah. Now let's just check. We always want to check the outers and the inners. What are the product of the outers is what? 8x. The product of the inners is 3x. What's 3x plus 8x? 11x. Okay. So, by the way, it wasn't this one. 2x squared plus 11 plus 12? Yeah. Okay. And I'm not going to do these with algebra tiles. We're just going to do guess and check. So, we already did 2x plus 3, and this was x plus 4. Okay. It is, except there's more options, because we have sometimes multiple things that multiply to be the first, okay? So this is where an eraser is a really good friend. I'm going to write the parentheses. If I get it wrong, I'm going to erase it. What has to go in the first spot? 2x and x, good. What are my options for the last spot, just so we know we have options? 2 and 2 or 1 and 4. And if something doesn't work, then we have to move on to the other. Okay? So what do you want to try first? 2. Okay? Now we always check. We know that the first and the last work. Let's check the outers and the inners. The outers would be 4x. The inners would be 2x. What's 4x plus 2x? 6. Okay. Oh, shoot. What did I forget to check first? A GCF. Here's the thing. This is actually good because I forgot. And what happens if you forget? Well, check at the end and see if one of them has a GCF. Because if you had a GCF in the beginning, then one of the factors still has a GCF. Doesn't this first factor have a GCF? Yeah, what's its GCF? 2. Let's just take 2 out right now. We'll do it at the end. If I took 2 out of the first parentheses, wouldn't I have x plus 1 left? And then this one would be x plus 2. So today when we're doing this, and I'll help us write a little note on our paper, let's always check GCF first. But if you forget, you can always do it at the end. All right, last one. Does that have a GCF? No. Now we start to write our parentheses, and we might have to erase. All right, ooh, what are factors of 3? 3x and 1x, okay. What multiplies to be 2? Okay. Let's check the outers and inners. The outers is 3x. The inners is 2x. What's 3x plus 2x? Crap. Do I have the right factors? I do not. So here's what I'm going to do. This is why I said use an eraser. I've had the 2 here and the 1 here. What should I do? Switch them around. Let's put the 1 here and the 2 here. Now let's fix this. What's 3x times 2x? 6x. And 1 times x is 1x. Does that work? Yeah. Okay.